Hello, 6th graders. We are in our integers unit. This is unit 6, and today we are looking at integers and absolute value. Our learning targets for today are I can use integers to describe situations, and I can determine the absolute value of a number or expression. Okay, some questions up here just to think about. How do we differentiate between what we have and do not have for money? How do you describe your location when scuba diving or mountain climbing? How do you know who is ahead in the sport of golf? And what do all these things have in common in terms of math and numbers? And then we've got two vocab words here that we need to write down. Three numbers. Integers, positive numbers, negative numbers. So integers are all of the positive and negative numbers, including 0. Okay, so positive numbers, this is anything above 0, goes along with this positive integers that we should also write down. And then negative numbers are the numbers that are below 0. So negative integers here are integers that are less than 0, and they are written with this negative sign out front of them. Where positive integers are above 0, and you can either write them with a plus sign or without. And then 0 is neither negative nor positive. It doesn't have a value to it. Okay, so now we are looking at writing integers for each solution. So when we're writing an integer, the biggest thing is knowing if it is a positive or a negative, if it's above 0 or below 0. So if we're looking at an average temperature of 5 degrees below normal, that tells us it's a negative, so you write it as negative 5. An average rainfall of 5 inches above normal, you would write it as 5. Or you could write it as positive 5, but usually we don't include the plus, but you can. So a couple pause, try the next two on your own. 6 degrees above 0, that means it's a positive, so it's written as 6. The next one, 2 inches below normal, would be a negative 2. Okay, so now we are looking at graphing integers on a number line. So we have this number line, we've got 0 in the middle, it's going positive to the right, negative to the left, and we are looking to graph 4, negative 6, and 0. So if you look, they already did those for us. So we found where 4 is, where negative 6 is, and we plotted them. So now a couple for us to try. So the first thing is that we need to draw a number line. So 0's in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like we're going up to 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then go negative the same amount in the opposite direction. 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8. So plotting them, negative 2, well, that is right here. 8 is all the way up here, and then our next one, negative 7, is here. Okay, try the next one on your own. Make a number line and then plot them. All right, so I'm going to make a little bit bigger number line here. So this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the other direction, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10. Numbering every other just to save a little space on there. All right. Plotting them, the first one, negative 4, so we start at 0, 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, starting at 0, going to the right, 10, so positives are always to the right, negative is always to the left of 0. So negative 3 we've got right here, and then the last one, 7, right there in between the 6 and the 8. Okay, another vocab here for us, absolute value. The absolute value of a number is the distance between the number and 0 on a number line. So for example, write these examples down here. If you have the absolute, well, first of all, these bars, they are always written, these are absolute value bars. Okay, so any number inside of there is how far that number is from 0. So if we have the absolute value of -5 like we've got here, then that equals 5. Where the absolute value of +5 is also 5, because that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots away from 0. Where -5 is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots away from 0. So for example, the absolute value of -4, well, if we were on a number line, here was 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, that's 4 spots away. So the absolute value of -4 is 4. The study tip here, order of operations. The absolute value bars are considered to be a grouping symbol, so they fall into the parentheses part of order of operations. So when we are solving these, that's the first thing that we would do. So we find the absolute value of -5. Well, -5 is 5 spaces away from 0. Keep the subtraction there. Absolute value of 2. 2 is 2 spots away from 0. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So there's your answer. So pretty much those absolute value bars, if it's negative, it becomes a positive. And if it's a positive, it stays a positive. Okay, so try these 3 on your own. Pause, try them, come back and check. So the absolute value of 8, if we were on a number line, here is 0, here is 8. The absolute value, it is 8 spaces away from 0, so the absolute value is 8. Here we have to solve the absolute value first, so the 2 stays the same. Absolute value of -3, well, that is 3 spots away from 0, so 2 plus 3 equals 5. Next one, the absolute value of -6, that is 6 spots away from 0, minus 5, 6 minus 5 is 1. Absolute value. Okay, so there's our video on integers and absolute value. Go back, rewatch if you are stuck. Otherwise, come with questions tomorrow.